Hello, welcome. We are doing a special Saturday morning code with Coach. I'm Coach Newton. You see my code bus. This is going to be a scratch challenge. I'll go over what today's challenge is for you, and let's see what you create with your ideas. I'm so happy you're able to participate. We're going to be using scratch.mit.edu. It's a great website and tool, so if your parents can create a login for you, that would be great. If you're here for the first time, code along. You can learn even if you don't have an account yet, and always catch up later. This recording is available for you. So the theme that we're going to follow today is Scratch Community, Scratch Studio. This is the Saturday Morning Code with Coach Studio. And the project that I'm going into is called Secret CLP. And if you click on that project, it takes you here. And we're going to remix it. Okay? So the theme is going to be, tell you a little bit more. What do you mean by secret? We're going to create an object in an interactive discussion menu where people type in and how do you code it so you look for different responses, and depending on their answers, your program goes and does different things and makes different choices. And then I'm going to show you some tricks that can create a secret password. If you find something, how do you interact with that? Suppose they type the password wrong. How does your program react? So you can kind of create some fun stories and interactions, problems, games using that. So it's a great coding trick you can use in your project. So I'm curious to see what you create with your version. So let's get started on the coding here. So as I mentioned, I'm going to be remixing. So let's go ahead and do that. I click remix. And so here I am as my user. I'm W820BAT. So in your own version, you're going to be doing something else. And you'll see, let's see, one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm just going to hide this secret. I'm not going to spend time today. So remember, this is a recording, and if I'm going quickly, you can pause it and catch up. So don't worry if I'm going a little fast. I'm trying to compress the video so I can cover the material quickly for you. So feel free to always pause. So I'm doing a show and a hide block, and this is on the sprite for secret. So I'm just going to hide that. So I'm not going to code with that. If you want to use the words to create some kind of intro, that's great. Go for it. You know me, I always encourage you to do something fun. So this is the sprite that I chose. You'll notice I made it a little special. It's basically all of the costumes that I could find for Scratch Cat, as well as this cat, cat number 2. So whether that's Scratch Cat or not, I'm not quite sure. But anyway, I just wanted you to see that's kind of a combination of several sprites that Scratch has. And I'm starting with this costume here. And what I'm going to do is let's start with our first question, right? So let's go to the control block. And we're going to use an if, then, else. So I'm going to make it a little bigger so you can see. So computers make decisions with these conditions, right? You can go out and play on one condition, finish your schoolwork or finish your chores or clean up your room. So all of us operate with, hey, if something is true, if it's raining, then I'm going to react in a certain way. I'll put on a raincoat. With coding, we have to tell the computer. Conditionals are these commands that tells the computer, well, I want you to make a certain condition depending if this statement here is true. So we're going to use the statement of asking the sensing block here. And you'll notice we haven't done this that much. Some of the students know how to do this. You're going to grab the ask and wait, and you need the answer. Okay? You're going to need the answer here, right? So let's type in ask what is your name. And just to test that block, and if I say coach, and if I hit return, if I click this block here, it shows me what I put in as the answer. It was coach. And if you want to see it on the screen, you can click this little block here. There was the answer. If you don't want it seen, you can unclick the box. So this is a variable. So some of you, if you've used variables with me before, don't worry if you don't understand what that means. But it's the value of whatever gets typed into here is the answer. And since you can type in different things, right? I could say my name is Chuck. Chuck. And now that's it. The answer is different. If I click the answer, it was Chuck. So that's what a variable is. You give the name to the variable so you know, like, hey, it's a score, but the value of what's in that score can be different, right? So in this case, we've talked about health and speed and using variables like that. In this case, we're using whoever responds here as the answer. So we're not going to ask this question. We're going to say, do you want to find the mouse? So we're going to kind of use the cat. And then, so here's the answer. So I'm going to ask that. Now, we have to check if the person says yes, we'll tell the computer to do things. Else, that means else they didn't say yes. This allows us to tell the computer to do something else. So this is like our first decision tree, right? Our first decision. So let's go into math operators. Dun, 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 dun. So the operators here we're going to use is equals. Now, a lot of times you think about computer or when you talk about something being equal, it's always mathematical, right? Is 2 equal to 3 or is 7 plus 3 equals to 10? You're always thinking of math terms, but the computer translates text into code that can be compared as well. So you can compare letters and numbers and things like that. So we're checking if the answer, remember, we don't know what the answer will be. It depends on who's using your program. If the answer is what? Not 50, but if the answer is yes. So if they say yes, because we've asked this question and we tell the computer to wait, and that wait tells the computer to wait until they've answered and checked the box. And if the answer is yes, I'm going to say, here we go. Great. Here we go. And we'll add some more there. I just want to kind of practice here. And what we can say is else, if suppose they didn't say yes, I'm going to say, what do you want your characters to say? Remember, don't copy exactly what I'm doing. Think about your own story that we're building here. Say, Bummer, go to your room. Okay, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to switch the backdrop. Now, what I didn't tell you is in the stage here, in this code launch project, in the stage, you'll notice we started in room 2, and you need to add your bedroom or wherever you're sending your character. That's why I left this open. So choose another backdrop. And if I go to indoors, in my story, I'm getting sent to the bedroom. And you can pick whichever bedroom, but you can pick any background, right? So send your character, it depends on your story. So I'm going to go for, I don't know, bedroom 1 doesn't get used that often. I'm going for bedroom 1. Okay, so I've added that to my stage backgrounds. Let's go back to the code for my sprite. So if you say, Bummer, go to your room, and we're going to switch to bedroom 1. And at the beginning of the program, we have to make sure that we always switch to room number 2. So let's give this a try with the green flag. Here we go. Do you want to find the mouse? Suppose I say no. Bummer, go to your room. And there it goes. And you could say game over. I'm being a little harsh here, but that's all right. Game over. Have a good nap. I'm just trying to be funny. So I hope you understand that difference. So now let's say someone said yes. Right? So I type yes. Great, here we go. Now we need to add a little bit more fun here. So the reason I call this project Surprise is we're going to add a sprite that is a little bit hidden that the cat has to find. So we're going to add movement and another sprite. So let's quickly choose a sprite. Pick something. I'm looking for an object. Maybe food. Is the cat looking for food? Ooh, cat's eating fruit salad. I can't imagine that, but it could be kind of funny. I don't know. You have to pick whatever fits your story. My cat, I know Cheesy Puffs is a favorite. Maybe my cat likes bread. I'm going to do bread because I think bread, yeah, is well disguised in my room here, right? So I'm going to hide this sprite under the table a little bit. And it's kind of hidden. It's not super hidden. So your program, you could hide it a little bit more. And what I'd like to do then is to see, we're going to add a conditional here. So I've added the sprite. I'm going back to the cat. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of a conditional that says, here we go. And we add a little bit more description so people know. Use arrow keys to find the bread. Okay, so I want this cat to be moving around to try to find the object. So in your game, it's kind of a little bit of a secret. You could make the object really hard to find. You could make it really tiny. It's up to you how challenging you'd like to make it. And I'm going to use a little bit of a trick here to make it quickly. Quick coding is I have a script for movement. So this code is going to be going into, I'm copying it out of my backpack. Now, if you don't have this code, that's okay. We can kind of, you can copy what I have here. I'm using the backpack because it's code I use quite a bit. And it's just to kind of speed up this video. But really what this is doing is the computer is checking if I'm pressing the down arrow key. And if I click on the code to run it, you can see I'm kind of moving my mouse with the arrow keys. That's kind of what this code does. So I want the cat to be able to go and touch the bread, right? And find that secret object. So whatever your sprites that you choose to work in your program, we want to move and see if we can find the bread. Now, when it finds it, we're going to create some more conditionals. It's going to have to answer some more questions. There's a secret password to be transported to, say, a new location as well, okay? So we're going to do a little bit of a, so we've added movement. Hopefully that makes sense for all of you, okay? And now we need to add another conditional. So we need the cat to go to a starting position. So let's see, I want my cat, I think originally I had it here. I'm going to kind of have it a little bit off screen. So it's just a little bit there. And that starting position, I go to motion. It's the 5th block down. This is the coordinates, -235, 151. And I want that to be the first thing the cat does, is go to that location. So whenever somebody starts, says, do you want to find the mouse? Yes. Great, here we go. Right? And use the arrow keys to find the bread. So I've built into the program some instructions so people kind of know. And obviously you can see the bread. Boom. Okay, so we need a conditional, and we're going to use a kind of a new command to kind of help out with that. Okay. We're going to do something where they keep searching, and it's a block called wait until. Okay. So let me explain how we're going to use that. I'm going back into my code here. I may need to shrink this a little bit. I'm doing equals, minus. There we go. Hopefully you can still read that code. It's just I need a lot more room. The other secret I use is I click this little block right up here. It gives me a little more space. So if you're ever coding and you really don't need the test space to be that large, I click here and it kind of gives me a little bit more room. So hopefully with this video, you can kind of blow it out and see it a little bit better. Okay, so far, just a recap, right? We've got an answer and asks me the question. It's kind of hard. I said yes. Yes. Here we go. And it's waiting for me to use the arrow keys. Now, we're going to use this command that I just mentioned. It says wait until. So this is another kind of conditional, but this is very powerful because this is saying wait until this condition is true. But the computer is constantly checking it for you. So similar to how we've learned to do movement here, we've had to put the if commands inside of a forever loop. This kind of has a lot of that built in because it's waiting and constantly checking for this condition to be true. So it's kind of powerful. It's kind of like a gate. If you think about logic, it kind of you get to the next gate once this is true. So I'm going to put this after we've told the person, says, hey, use the arrow keys to find the bread. And we have to say, wait until, well, we're touching the bread. So I'm going to say, wait until we're touching the bread. We're using the sensing block. Okay. And then if it does, we're going to ask another question. Great. But what is the password? Oh no, I'm not going to do password. But what is? And let me make it. Let me think of something. Great. But can you spell? It's kind of silly. Mouse. And wait. Okay, so now we're asking another question here. And let's just test what we've got so far. I'm going to go kind of full screen. And let's just see how this works, right? Do you want to find the mouse? I'm going to do, if I do a no, remember what happens? If I type no, bummer, go to your room, and it switches game over, have a good nap, right? But that lets you know that that's how you could go to this room and have other things now happen, right? It's a decision tree. But if we start over, the game does end. If I type yes, remember it's all lowercase, great, here we go. It lets me use the arrow keys. And I hit the mouse, it says, great, but can you spell mouse? So it's asked me another question. So now I can change that. So far everything looks like it's working. Okay, but I want to show you also, what do you do if someone has problems figuring out how to spell mouse or answering the question? You don't want the code to just kind of get stuck, right? So I kind of wanted to show you there's a repeat until. So we are doing some pretty complex things here. I'm just arranging my screen so I can see better. A repeat until block that we're going to put in here. So that's another control. And you'll notice this. I'm going to drag it so you can kind of see it. I'm going to move my movement off to the side. I'm going to do a save now. Let's see, we're at 18 minutes. So we got to wrap this up. 2 minutes. Because I want to give you time to code on your own. This is just a guide to kind of get you started with some nested questions and answers, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, we're going to say keep repeating until they answer the question correctly. So remember how we did answer? There's a new answer. And we have to do the math operator to see, did the answer equal what we expected? Right? So you could do this with math or with text. And we're checking to see if the answer is, did they spell it M-O-U-S-E? And I said, can you spell mouse? But this is where you could make it a password. Please, great. But please spell mouse. Now, of course, I hope you can make this more interesting. I'm just kind of giving you an example. But please spell mouse. And we're checking if they've spelled. And the reason I'm keeping this outside is you can kind of see it. We're checking, keep repeating the code that's in here until the answer is mouse. So whatever you put inside of here, the computer will run if their answer is not mouse. Okay? So this kind of gives them a chance to spell mouse correctly. And if the answer is not mouse, we can say, hey, we could say something funny, but we have to kind of ask again. So we'll ask, I'll just say, nope. Please try again. And I'm going to be kind of silly and give them a hint. I'm going to say, please try again. Mouse is not too hard to spell. And then we wait. And I'm putting that very carefully, you'll notice, in this little piece here. So it's going to say, hey, can you spell mouse? And it's going to keep repeating, and it's waiting, right? It's waiting for you to type an answer. And the first thing it does is it's going to check, hey, is this answer mouse? If it's not, it will repeat this thing. It says, nope, please try again. So this is why I thought this one's going to be a kind of a fun thing for you to learn, because you could use this in so many other ways in your stories and programs and decisions, how to do things. But it's really fun because you make it interactive with people typing things. And of course, I'm picking kind of silly things just to show you the idea. So let's see. If they did say it, if they do answer mouse correctly, then the code will continue down here. So we need something else to happen. So I want them to go to a new backdrop. Let's see, where would I find a mouse? How about the hayfields? So I've added a new background into my stage, and if they answer correctly, I'm going to say switch backdrop to field, hayfield. Now I'm doing this right now. I'll zoom in a little bit. Hopefully this helps you see it. If you need to pause the video, just do that. I just zoomed in so you can see the code in case the resolution's not good enough for the screen you're looking at. And where I put the blocks are careful. So this is kind of my little test here to see, hey, if this happened, did it go to the hayfield? Let's give it a try. Let's go full screen. Here we go. Do you want to find the mouse? I'm going to say yes, because we know what happens. Great, here we go. Use the arrow keys to find the bread. Now I use the bread as the secret object. It's moving around, right? You could make it small. Boom, he touched the bread. Great, but please spell mouse. All right, so watch what I do here. I'm going to say mice. And here the code worked. It said, nope, please try again. Mouse is not too hard to spell. Micer? Nope. So it's in that repeat until it matches loop, and it keeps asking, and we put inside of there for it to keep asking this question over and over again, right? So I kind of put the word right here so they can see M-O-U-S-E. Boom. I typed mouse, and this is where I would want a mouse to appear. So you've noticed you kind of created, you could have it a password as a gate, as a portal to another dimension. Who knows how you can take this kind of code. And you could always have, is there a mouse sprite? M-O-U-S. There is a mouse sprite, of course. Okay, so I added the mouse sprite. Oops, sorry. I added the mouse sprite. I'm going to go back to this other code. So the mouse, I'm just going to pick a spot since I know this is the field. And we know the cat was near the loaf of bread. And I want the mouse. Remember, we do a show and hide, of course, right? So in the beginning, the mouse is hidden. So in the beginning of the program, it's hidden. But let's see, we need a trigger. We made the background change. So this is where, and last week we learned, hey, when the backdrop switches to the field, then I want you to show. And I want him to go, I want him to say, yikes. Oh no, the cat found me. Run. And let's see, I'm going to give him a starting location here. I'm going to flip him that way. And since this is my starting location for the mouse, I need to tell the computer that because we know that. So let's always put that there at the beginning. So when the program starts, he's hidden. And I click here. Oh no, the cat found me and run. And I just want it to go, oops, I'll drag it by the tail. It's hard to get the sprites on the edge. I'm trying to get it off the edge of the screen. So this is my new location, and I'll say glide to that location so we can kind of test it. So here's this. I clicked here to put it to the starting point. I clicked here. Oh, whoops, I made it. How come it's not going to the starting location? Oh no, the cat found me, run. And there he goes, he glides. Sound good? I'm going to do a save now. I hope you had fun. This video ended up being a little bit longer than I thought. I hope you get the idea. Again, you can always pause it with the video. I added the little mouse. I'm going to do a save now. Let's play it through. Let's see if it works the way I thought. And of course, you have control. You want to find the mouse. Yes. Here we go. So now people have to use arrow keys to find whatever thing you have in there. But please spell mouse. I'll do it correctly so we get through it. Mouse. Oh no, the cat found me, run. And I could, you could start playing a game where then the cat, since you have control of the cat, you can go chase the mouse and add some more things to happen. So again, you can see where the story evolved. In the very beginning, you could have been sent to the bedroom, and who knows, a whole other set of events could have happened, and you can start splitting your stories, right, logically through the program. So I hope that was a lot of fun. I'm really glad you were able to join me here. Code On. Next Saturday is another pre-recorded Scratch challenge. Please put your projects in the studio. Remember Saturday Morning Code with Coach. I showed you that in the beginning. Share your projects when I have the next live stream session in May. I'm going to review things that people have posted. So code on. And we'll see you next week for another pre-recorded episode on May 1st. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching, creating and coding. Stay well. Bye-bye.